Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the show. How are you? How was your weekend? I'm your host, Lauren Michaels Harris, and I'm so excited to be here. And I was going to open the show with a fit of coughing, but I thought that might not go over too big. Oh my goodness. Yesterday, I was in the local grocery store, and first of all, there was a woman. I saw someone's when I got home. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. I got home and I saw somebody was posting, was live about how to keep your cool during all this stuff. This is worse than Christmas Eve when you're trying to shop for stuff. There was a woman, excuse me, yesterday. She's going to park halfway in the, you know how you go into the store parking lot and then they have the arrows to tell you which lane, what direction the lane is going for you to park. Well, she's eased in between where you're supposed to turn, sitting there on her phone. And I later found out waiting for her 14-year-old son to come out of the store. Like, and he came running out like he was handicapped or something, right? So I can't even turn, and all the other lanes are full. You can see it. Right? I see one spot on this row, and I can't get in because. And then so I'm honking. I'm right beside her, and I'm honking, and she's sitting there on her phone doing this. All right, I did ask Jesus for help, but only after I got out of the car and had my nose pressed against her driver's side window. She was going to acknowledge me one way or the other. Anyway, after she moved, I got home and I saw that video and I was like, you're right. It's like, I mean, I'm not all messed up about the toilet paper aisle, although I will be getting off this broadcast and headed straight to the grocery store to meet the toilet paper truck at 9:15 this morning. I sure am. It's either that or newspaper. I'll let you figure that one out. Oh, there's the Bella Purpose. So anyway, it's just all this crazy stuff. So we need each other, and we need to remember the high road, the high road. Thank you, Jesus, the high road. Because I'm telling you what, people are starting to act absolutely bizarro. So anyway, how was your weekend? There was a lot of stuff going on this weekend. Yesterday, there was the Democratic candidate debate. Last night, I didn't get to catch it, but I did record it. I'm going to go back and check that out. Um, of course, uh, I saw a little bit of something out about that COVID-19 thing. Every place you turned, there was that going on. Um, how do you feel about this social distancing? Right? I ain't got no problem with it. Because I naturally don't like people anyway. So I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But social distancing, I do feel like I should get like one of those pool skimmers and just hold it and just walk around town. If you close enough to get hit by this pool skimmer, you're too close to me. So that's just what I might end up doing. What are you doing? I'm interested in knowing what you're doing to maintain your sanity and deal with the insanity of some of those around you. Mass hysteria is no joke. And we're going to talk to our guest today, Mandy Pitka. You got to go up on that second page, Pitka, because if you miss it, trust me, she's gonna make sure you missed it. Anyway, so been there, done that. Oops, Bella Purpose. There she is, right over there, hiding out in the corner. Now, don't let her fool you. You see, she's got on her little glossy lipstick and her little pretty outfit and necklace. No, ordinarily, if you watch Mendyisms early every morning, you'll see that she usually comes in some camo, and she might have some alpaca poop on her shoes. For real. They live on an alpaca farm, right? How many people can say that? There again, it's the Bella Purpose. So anyway, we're going to talk to her about how things are in her little place, her little corner of the world, frost-proof Florida. Are they panicking down there, or is it life as usual? And then also, she just came back from a luxurious, and when I do say luxurious, I'm talking about the presidential suite, that one at the very top of the ship with the big old piano in it and a butler and all that. Well, she came off of an 11-day Southern Caribbean cruise with people that she works with, and it was during the Corona thing really broke while she was out on the high seas. So I want to talk to her about how that went on. Was it? I mean, did That was at the beginning, and how she feels about it now compared to when the rumblings first started hitting her earlobe. So, anyway, we're going to talk to Mandy here in just a little bit. But first, I want to welcome you to the show. Help me welcome my sidekick, Miss Olivia Newton John. Oops, sorry, I forgot. Sorry, Lucy. I'm kidding. It's Lucy McGillicuddy Ricardo. I only said that because she was giving me the silent treatment this morning when I took her out of the dishwasher. She was mad because she says she hates when I start the dishwasher at night and then she's got to stay in there. She don't like crowds. And she said social distancing. She wanted me to take her out and put her somewhere away from everybody else that was in the dishwasher. I was like, "You're a cup, you're a mug. Girl, that does not apply to you." Apparently it does. I know. So what if it didn't make sense to you why I said all that? It's my universe. You're merely visiting. So there. So now I want to remind you of two things. Number one, what you keep hearing in the background is the bell of purpose. Honey, that means that when you hear this bell of purpose, somebody said something that we need to go, oh, now that's a good one. Either our guest, so you send lots of hearts and love up on the screen, or maybe one of you has dropped a comment that we say, ooh, good one. When you hear the bell of purpose, it means somebody just laid down something the rest of us should try to pick up. There. I can't do it while I'm holding it, apparently. So anyway, I'm talking about the bell. Y'all so nasty. So anyway, also I have today my little Stretch Armstrong. I'm only showing him he is the world's smallest Stretch Armstrong, and I'm only showing him to show that I have not cut him open yet. So I'm doing better. Therapy works. Also today we are streaming live across Roku, Facebook, YouTube, Android, Apple TV, Periscope, and of course from home base, Phoenix, Arizona, where E360 TV Live lives. Also want to shout out to my good friend and buddy Joshua T. Berglund. His show, Gratitude Unfiltered, is right on the flip side of this show. So if you get up an hour early, you can catch Gratitude Unfiltered. How wonderful would it be to start every day with a cup full of gratitude? And you can do that by joining Joshua T. Berglund for Gratitude Unfiltered. We have two sponsors this week because we just had to with all this stuff going on, and you'll see why. Tomorrow's guest is actually Troy Rocks, one of the co-founders of the Symposium app. And he and I are going to talk to you guys about how, if you're quarantined, you will be able to still make some money, some income by using Symposium. I'm doing it. I'm putting some stuff up. I'm even going to be training people on how to do it. So I do it all the time. I made probably around $3,000 last year from doing little things on Symposium. Not every day, just here and there. But it's a great platform, and we want you to know about it and how to use it. So he's going to be here tomorrow. And also our other sponsor. Well, Symposium is where, what is Symposium? It's where conversation becomes currency. You can turn your phone into a payphone. You really can. Turn your followers into pay-per-viewers. Okay. And we're going to show you how to do that tomorrow. And our other sponsor is Chris Cash Homes, where realtor and interior designer come together. Chris Cash doesn't just provide you her services, she also provides you access to your dreams. And Chris would love for each of you to have a free copy, and not a free copy, a free subscription. Excuse me, that is not coronavirus. Um, I'm just saying, I'm scared to cough because every time you do, everybody out there goes, you know what I'm saying? I swear, I saw one woman reach in her purse like she had a gun or something. I was like, don't play, girl. Quit playing. Um, a copy of American Lifestyle Magazine. Not a copy, again, not a copy, a full subscription for a year. You get it every other month. If you would like a copy of this, and don't just think it's a dumb magazine. It has great stuff in it like this. I've been collecting them. These recipe cards are in every issue. So you just snap them out. If you want or interested in a free subscription, send me your name and home address, and I'll get it to Chris Cash, and she'll get that in your mailbox every other month. So there you go. So okay, we've talked about toilet paper, the weekend, tomorrow's guest, COVID-19, Democratic debate. Nothing left now. But oh, one thing before my guest comes in. Here's today's meme. About that one. Purpose only has so many pockets. What are your pockets filled with? You like that? I know. I'm ringing the bell on my own stuff. There it is. There it is. Uh-huh. That's right though, but think about it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, or you could use seats around the table. There's only so many. If you have great people in your life, if purpose has brought great people in your life, and let's say they came to your dance, they didn't come to your dance to sit around the hall on the wall and be a wallflower. They came to dance. But if your dance floor is full and crowded with a whole bunch of people that don't have you and don't have your back, and you as their one, you know what I'm saying? Then you need to change the tempo, change the record, clear the room, and let the people who are there to support you dance, dance, dance. So, Miss Mandy Kika, you're going to start feeling a slight tingling because I am sending you over right now to my side of the universe, and it's going to break you into a billion little pieces, just like Mike TV. Oh, you got here fast. You certainly aren't constipated because those people take a long time to get over here. So you're definitely not full of. You're here.
Good morning.
Good morning. Might I say, I'm loving the studious background that you're in today, and I know you're already at work.
Yes, yes, I am.
Tell everybody about yourself. And what kind of work do you do?
Um, I mainly work for I work for myself, but I have several different people that I do work for. And the main thing that I do is the people that I work for own rentals. And when people move out, we go and we fix them up, and then we put new people in them. And
Okay.
most recently, the person I'm working for has decided that he wants to get out of the rental business. So we're fixing these houses up and he's selling them. So it's just handyman work. That's what I do.
Handy woman.
Handy Mandy.
Handy Mandy work.
That's right.
Ooh, handy Mandy. Now back in the day, that might have meant the wrong thing. I'm just kidding.
I know.
ah, oh Lord, we're gonna have a good time this morning. So Mandy, let me just say to everybody, I love this woman. She is one of the best storytellers I have ever worked with. Well, or encountered, not just worked with, encountered. Yes, Mandy and I, in the last 3 or 4 months, have started working together on a coaching tip, and man, she leaves me like this every week when we finish a session because she just keeps reinventing herself, becoming better and better. And before we get deep dive into today's guest, I want to just take a moment to acknowledge all of you that are here. Hello, Niles Yarborough from the Benton Harbor, Michigan area. So nice to see you dropping by. Shelley Dale, Robert Brooker, the rest of the gang, Kim Flaherty, and wow, look at you all. Craig Blooming Gold. Give me my money and I'll leave you alone. I don't know why I thought you were Irish, but I felt like doing that brogue. Anyway, welcome to all of you. I hope we had a great weekend. Thanks for joining us here today on Monday's edition of Bathrobe Moments. Mandy Kick is with us. And Mandy, here's one of the things I want to get into first of all. You reside in a little bitty town that sounds like something from a Dickens novel, uh, Frostproof, Florida. Now,
Yes.
that just sounds like there's some kind of story behind that name. Well, I mean,
Well,
who was sitting around and said, "Ooh, Joe is hot. That's why it's frost proof." I mean,
well,
what?
apparently back in the day, they advertised it because it's prominently orange groves around here. And frost is not the friend of trees. So they advertised it that it was in this little valley. And so frost would not settle on the trees.
Okay.
And so that's how they sold all of the land. But I guess a few years later, a big freeze did come through, and a lot of people lost a lot of their crops. So it didn't stand up to
Oh
to
my
the next.
God. And then,
Yeah,
so, did anyone ever know what's the story about the guy who named it frost proof? Where did his corpse end up?
I don't remember exactly. I just
You
remember that.
lied ass. You said no frost. Okay. Okay.
But I love the town. I love where I live. I
And how
really
many
do.
of you are there?
I think there's about 1,400 in a
Ooh.
city, if I'm remembering right. I live on the outskirts. I don't live in town. I live pretty far out in the woods.
Okay, so you guys really have no issue adhering to social distancing.
None at all.
And
Not at
is
all.
in your town, I'm really curious. Here's a serious question. Are you experiencing the same things we are in our cities? Like when you go to the grocery store, is all your toilet paper gone? Is all your water gone? Your hand sanitizer? Is that happening in Frostproof?
I have not been to the grocery store in Frostproof since this happened, so that I don't know. But I have been to the Walmart the next town over in Lake Wells, and yes, it was that I was there yesterday, and it was like that, just empty shelves. It's crazy.
It really is.
It is.
Oh, wow. So, okay. Huh. So, okay, well, I guess it's touching everywhere. Well, let's get into your story. We know you're a small town girl. Now, uh, I'm just going to hit some of the high points and let you turn over and kind of take us down through the story. First of all, you open your live every morning, introducing yourself and saying right off the bat that I am a dope survivor, and I actually love the way you put that because it's beauty and ashes all in the same spoonful. And you don't candy coat it. A lot of people say drug and this and that, but it's dope. It really is, and not in the good way, like the kids. Now, your story didn't start there. And I also noticed, Mandy, that you have a lot of repetitive numbers in your story. You were 18 when you took your first line of meth, and it lasted for 18 years. You found sobriety July 12th of 12. You know what I mean? So there's two 12s and you had two 18s. Very interesting. That's something to think about. Um, but at 16 years old, your father passed away from brain cancer. So it's not just any kind of cancer, it's brain cancer. And then you had a boyfriend die not long after that. You tell me he was the love of your life, your childhood sweetheart. And not just from any old thing, a train accident. Excuse me. Bye, honey. Have a great day. I love you. So, there's brain cancer, which is like not something you hear people getting every day. And then you have this boyfriend, your love of your life, get killed, and not and we hear of car accidents and this that. You don't hear about a train accident every day. So it just seems like when stuff comes into your life, I mean, it comes barreling down in avalanche style. And it seems like that is how it has always been, kind of the theme, if you will. So tell us about it. This 18 and 18, you add them together. You were 18, you had 18 years of it, and guess what? You add 18 and 18 together, you get 36. And 36 just happens to be the year, the age when the SWAT team kicked in your front door. So you see what I'm saying? How the numbers all make sense in your life?
I
Just
do.
like they do in all our lives. So go ahead, talk about that. And then before we get out of here, I want you to give us a lesson on exactly what it takes to scrape copper wire, because I cannot even imagine what that entails. But go ahead, Mindy, take the mic and tell everybody, take us down this journey, if you would.
Um, I grew up in the small town. Actually, it was Lake Wells that I was born in, which is one town over from Frostproof. I had a pretty normal, happy childhood. My parents divorced when I was young. My mom remarried when I was 10, and my dad he did get sick and passed when I was 16. Uh, that's a pretty crazy time in your life. Everything you feel when you feel as a teenager is you feel it strongly. So of course, yeah, I was feeling strongly with the love of my life there in high school. So when my dad passed, I turned to him even more. When he passed, I kind of, I guess, you lost my mind. Uh, I didn't. I didn't know what to do with myself. I ended up taking off because I figured I could do it on my own better than I could at home.
Were you an only child?
I I, I have a half brother and a half sister, but they didn't really grow up. They didn't grow up in the same household.
Okay, so in that
Right.
house,
I'm
it's
on.
just you. Okay, that's enough.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay.
So I decided after that I could do it on my own. I could grow up and be an adult. And then I moved to what I thought was a huge city named called Lakeland.
Oh,
Now that
yeah.
I've been, yeah, now
Oh,
that I've
great
been to New York,
girl.
I know Lakeland ain't nothing.
Okay, so
But
you moved to the big city of Lakeland.
I did, and
How old were you? How old were you when you moved out?
I'm 17.
So you
17.
had you graduated high school?
I did not. I did not.
Oh,
I quit my December of my senior year. I ran away,
December
and
of your senior year, there wasn't nothing left
I
but
know.
cap and gown and yearbook and senior trip and skip senior day. And
Yeah, I told you
so you,
I lost my mind a little.
okay, so let's take it one step at a time here. So you ran away, but what were you running to?
I started.
Or is it easier to say what you were running from?
It was probably what I was running from.
Okay, talk about
I,
it.
most likely that I started drinking and underage drinking in the bars, things like that, and I latched on to somebody at the bar who didn't know how old I was and moved in with him. It only took a couple months for him to figure out how old I was when he took me back home.
Oh, because you were
And
jailbait.
I was jailbait, yes. And as soon as he figured that out, I went back home and I stayed with my parents until I was actually 18 and then took off again. And I went right back to the neighborhood that had found in Lakeland, and that was when I started doing drugs.
So
Um,
what? You just happened to be walking down the street one day and some people said, "Hey, you want to get high?" I mean, that does happen.
I I I friended some people. There was a bar across the street from the house that I was living in, and I would go to that bar. And I friended some people there, and so when I moved back to Lakeland the second time, they let me move in with them. And I started discovering that they were acting different, and I didn't know why they were acting different other than, was all drinking and drunk.
Mhm.
They weren't acting drinking and drunk anymore. And I started questioning what are you doing? What Why do y'all disappear for a little while? What's going on? I want to know
Okay,
what you're doing.
let me jump in here for one second because I have a feeling because I was like, okay, so you just go straight to meth. I didn't hear you say anything about weed or any of that, which a lot of kids start with, but the alcohol was present. And so I want to back up just for a second. When you were living at home with your parents, were you allowed to drink,
No.
but were you out drinking?
Yes.
So, how big of a role did alcohol play in your young life to that point? Was it were you drinking it every weekend? Were you drinking during the week? I'm saying you dropped out of high school when there really is no high school left, just last semester. So something had to be more important to you than your priorities of education and whatnot. So I'm wondering, how big of a role did your drinking? Were you Have you ever considered that you had a predisposition for alcohol? Were you borderline alcoholic? Was there alcoholism anywhere in your family?
Oh, alcoholism runs rampant in my family.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
See,
Yes.
tell us about that though, because you know what I'm saying. It's because it is like a thing that beckons, it pulls, and it was the thing. It was the yellow brick road that led you to an 18-year meth addiction. So there could be a kid listening. There could be a parent listening. Somebody who thinks, "Oh, we let her have a glass of wine," or "I know she goes out and drinks. No big deal. All kids do." And they think that, it's okay, but sometimes that door shouldn't be open. What do you say about that?
Um, that's probably the case. I mean, if I wasn't out, and in our little small town, the way to drink in our small town was to meet out in the groves and all circle around in trucks and stuff like that. I never actually did that. I didn't go hang out in the Grove with my high school mates. I I found my way into the bars, and
So you had
uh,
fake ID?
I didn't need a fake ID. No, no.
Oh, so wait a minute. So so oh, okay, never mind. You just answered my question when you took a drink. I was gonna say, so what you do to get in the bar and you went,
No.
need I say more?
A
So
lot of
well, but you
the
used your young feminine wiles?
that, and my biggest trick was shift change. Shift change was pretty easy. Get there and
Oh.
shift change, and my favorite trick was to take the empty beer bottle up to the new bartender, and they assumed that the first bartender had served it to me.
Ah. You were smarter than I was because I was 17 with an ID that said I was 39 years old.
Yeah, well, it's different for men.
Wow. Okay, so even figuring something like that out, nowadays you could look back and say, "Wow, that was a real red flag that I was so good at making it happen." Okay, so you drink, you're in bars, you're hanging with adults who do
Hmm.
adult things, and next thing you know, you're hanging out with a couple, and you notice that they're not acting drunk, they're acting different, and
Hmm.
so that's where your first line of meth. So
Yes,
what do you remember what day of the week that was?
I do not. I do not.
Okay, so from one day to the next, when did you? Okay, from the moment you took that line, when did you notice? Oh shit.
Uh, Now see, okay, so there was a husband and wife that I was staying with. The husband did not want any part of them being the first person to introduce drugs to me. And he said no, 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 no. But his wife was like, okay. So we went in and she cut me out of line real fast. I snorted it. Then it was like a whole different world. And
So
once
you
he
liked it right off the bat.
right off the bat, right off the bat. And
Now
a
wait a minute.
couple,
I've heard that it burns and all
oh
that.
God, yeah, yeah, it burned.
So you were like, okay,
No, you get over that pretty quick.
okay. So I'm just trying to establish, my drug of choice was crack. So yeah, one hit, woo,
Yeah,
and and there was no pain involved, but there was pain involved in yours, but still automatically, just like that, you had found a new lover.
I liked it. I liked the fact that I was invincible, that I could do anything. And then once I started doing it, if you did a line and you drank, it seemed like you couldn't get drunk, no matter how
Right.
much you
Same
drank.
thing with crack. Right. So that night, okay, so you do your line. Let's say it's 8 p.m. How long? You know what I'm saying? So what was when? Say 2 hours later, how are you feeling?
Still, especially back then when I first started, and it was I felt good for days, 24 hours. You wouldn't
Yeah,
need another
you
line.
stay up a long time on that stuff, don't you?
Yes, yes.
Do you remember how long you stayed up that first time? Because your system was completely clean. Did you stay up a couple days?
I do not actually remember how long I stayed up. That
What's
was,
the record? What's the record in your 18-year meth run? How long did, because I know some who stayed up so long they had to go to the hospital.
yeah, I decided one day I wanted to see how long I could stay up, and like an experiment. And I stayed up 8 days. And after the fourth day, I locked myself in the house, and it was crazy. It was crazy. I started seeing things, hallucinating. There was pictures on the walls that started talking to me.
Whew.
It was yeah, it was real crazy. And then when I finally just passed out from exhaustion, I slept for probably 36 hours.
Now, here's another little myth I want to dispel because we all, society and all kinds of different things condition us, those of us who aren't meth, I was going to say meth heads, meth addicts, to what it looks like, what it feels like. Now, a lot of people say, oh, she couldn't have been a meth head for 18 years. She has beautiful teeth
I
because
get
people
that a
look so.
lot.
See, exactly. Talk about that. How, it doesn't affect everybody the same. Yeah, it does mess up a lot of people's teeth and this and the other. But, uh, you know, is there a way, is there a look to a meth head? Or is it easy for you all to cover it up? Now, and also, if you would, talk about all the different ways that people actually can ingest that drug. That amazes me.
Yeah, yeah. So the look, I can't really, I can't tell you what the look is, and I'm so suspect, man. I am so prejudiced when it comes to looking at people now. I get out in public and I'm like, they own it. Mm, look at them. I
I
can
do that
tell.
too. I do
Yeah.
that too when I know, like,
Mm-mm.
crackhead in the making. You know what I mean? Right, right.
But I also do say it takes one to know one.
Hmm.
And that's the reason why I recognize. And my
And let me ask you, because when you were in there, because you did something differently. I know I did. I was like, I'm not like them. I'm not gonna. No one ever was able to call me a fiend. 'Cause I wouldn't do anything, and I wouldn't stay out there looking at, snot and boogers all on my nose, all kind of cheese on my teeth, all that. I wasn't going out like that. That was just a personal choice. I had boundaries, limits. Now, when you were in there, did you ever find yourself from the outside? I use that term loosely, looking in with your fellow meth heads, like, woo, boy, I ain't never turning into her. 'Cause I've seen meth heads who pick and tweak. They call it tweaking. Talk about that. And if anything, if this becomes a trigger, you can bypass it. I'm just saying.
so, so I went through a picking phase. One time I picked my chin so bad that my mom was like, "What's wrong with your face?"
They do that.
I was like, "I don't know what's wrong with it. I got the acne." I I think what made me think that I was different was that I always went to work. I held a job. Um, there were certain things I tried not to do. I would try to shut my house down at like 10 o'clock so the neighbors wouldn't know. That was more in the beginning. And the last 5 years of the addiction got completely out of control, where all the rules that I had set for myself that had gotten me through all those previous years, I was breaking all of my own rules.
Mm.
And you know, certain things I just I wouldn't do
Mm.
that everybody has their one point,
So
I think.
when did dope wake you up and say, "Hey, congratulations. You now have earned your way into becoming a dope entrepreneur." Because we know that happened, and because one day the SWAT team kicked your door in. Tell us about that, and how many years did it take for you to escalate and grow and graduate from just a functional user into a dope dealer?
Right. uh, I learned very early how to sell drugs, how to sell the meth. My daughter's father taught me. So within the first year of actually doing drugs, I was learning how to sell. And it was the guy that I would was my dealer. He explained it two different ways between me and my ex. He explained it to me that if you sell these four, you get to keep the money for this fifth one. They were talking about quarters.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, oh, great. Now I could pay my bills. I could do these things. He explained it to him. If you sell these four, you get to do this fifth one. Okay, so for those years, that's how I learned. Was it was a money making mechanism. So eventually, years and years later, when my habit got to where my job was not paying for it anymore, I went back to selling because now I'd gotten to the point where, well, I need to sell these four so I can do this fifth one. So it wasn't. That's when it did. It got out of. Go ahead.
Did you have to do it every day? So when you're at this point, um, how much are you using on a daily basis, Mandy?
I probably I always had people around me doing helping me, so I probably would go through maybe a 16th a day.
What's the
To
dollar amount for something like that? I have no idea.
see $130
A day?
a day.
So, okay, public school system here. So give me a minute. So I know seven of them is 700. Three times seven is 208. 921. $921 a week?
Yeah,
Girl, you could have been driving a week. Four times nine is 36. That's $3,600 a month.
I
Okay.
yeah.
Makes sense that you would have to do whatever you had to do. So, okay, so if you're doing that much and it keeps you up, how much are you sleeping at this point?
Well, I had changed my intake of it. Okay, so I didn't snort anymore because it hurt so bad to snort lines. So I started smoking it and smoking. I smoked constantly. You know, people say that you can't. Skinny people. That's another uh,
Myth?
falsehood. Okay, it's not everybody is skinny. All right, because I could sit down with a piece of fried chicken and take a bite of fried chicken and take a hit of meth. All right. So it didn't curb my appetite anymore.
Wow. So
Uh,
do you feel you developed a tolerance so that it could be a part of your
Absolutely.
everyday? Because
Yes.
you're right. People do think that meth users wither away because they never eat, they never
Mm,
sleep, and there are people who can do both.
yes. Yes. So yeah,
Okay,
I was
so how much were you selling that you must have been, you weren't just like, here's a couple here, here's a couple there. You had to have been selling enough, I would think, if the SWAT team is on your ass. So
yeah.
so what were you looking at when you got busted? What could it have been? What was the worst case scenario you were looking at?
Uh 10 years. They were trying 10 years prison.
But thank God you had no history.
Thank God. Yes.
And is this when you turned yourself around, or did you get out of that and then keep on screwing up? Or
Yeah, that is the day. That's why I say, because they served the warrant on my house on my 36th birthday. And so, and now that day I remember it was a Thursday. It was a Thursday. And I had been planning on having a big fish fry that weekend. And I was so naive, so naive. I had no idea how much trouble I was in that I truly
Mm.
held out in time to go to my birthday fish fry. I had no idea. I did not comprehend just what had happened. And I'm glad though. I am glad that I didn't get out immediately. I probably wouldn't have had the strength to completely quit like I did.
Take us through it for the people, because somebody out there could be one sale, one line, one puff away from that SWAT moment and not even know it. Because an addiction is a shapeshifter. It is a master of deceit and lies, and it is proficient in tricking people. So, really quickly, from the moment, because I know that reality, how boom, the blue and red lights, the sound of the crackle from the police radio, things that you never forget. Even now, let's fast forward to you're in the county jail, the feel of that concrete, using a roll of toilet paper for a pillow, being in that room where you got to poop with everybody else or pee with everybody else, the trays of food, the plastic cutlery, the reminders go on and on. And I know even though you went through it one time, you'll never forget, right or wrong.
Right.
So talk about that, how that world felt. And because I'm very proud of you, because one of the things that it only took you once. That's usually the only part of the story for most addicts where it says it only took once was when they took that first whatever line hit, puff, shot, whatever. But you have a secondary, it only took once, and that was that one. And I think that's a true marker to the strength that you possess within you that we see every morning on Mandyisms and what you do every day to help other people see the light. So, uh, at what point of the experience was it when you got booked? Was it when you were in there and you had to go to sleep with all the lights on and everybody around and you saw what kind of people were in there? What do you think? Was it one thing? Was it a combination of all of it? Can you pinpoint can you pinpoint, Mandy, what it was when you said to yourself, hell no, I am not going out like this?
It was the combination of it all. As you pointed out earlier, I don't do nothing in my life seems to be just mediocre. Nothing ever happens just a little bit. Everything that I go through, it's like, wow,
Yeah.
extreme. And so, just the whole experience, I saw people running across my backyard and I didn't understand. Then I realized that it was SWAT. So from the moment that they busted in the door, started screaming, everybody get down there. It was it was extreme. And my moments are different than could be anyone. This is what I try to tell people is they have to recognize their own no more moment. It could be different,
Mm.
okay? They have to.
Put some love on the screen. That's a big one right there. Say that again. People need to recognize their own.
No more moment.
You said a mouthful. I'm picking that one up. How about you guys? Go on. That's a good one.
And that was losing my freedom was my no more moment. I had always made jokes about I would never make it to the jail if I was ever arrested because I'd die from a heart attack in the car. And but lo and behold, I made it there. I made it to the
Mhm.
holding cell. I made it to first appearance. I didn't die, but a part of me died in that car. A part
Ooh.
of me. And so it was all of those, just everything. And thank goodness I did have the time to clean out in jail, the time to clear out. Because if you use the jail and the system and the programs that they have correctly, they are very, very helpful. Very helpful. If you take it for heart, take it as a learning experience. What they try to provide you in there is to help you, and it helped me. There's so much support in there, and there's some really bad people in there. I cried for a week. I mean, every waking moment, which wasn't a whole lot of waking moments. I had 18 years of sleep to catch up on.
Right?
you know, they
Good one. That was a good one.
they I mean, I
Um,
cried. My roomies hated me. They all tried to get me put suicide watch. It was not a pleasant thing. It's something I did not want to repeat. And as the weeks went on, as the days went on, I found out who would show up and be there for me and who wouldn't. And lo and behold,
mm,
all those people that said that they were going to be there, that said that they wouldn't leave me, ride or die, we're together. They didn't come and see me, and it was my family, it was my mom, it was all of them that showed up, and it was them that was waiting for me when I come out.
mm.
And it was a horrible thing that I don't ever want to experience again, ever.
Right, right. I hear you there. I hear you there, and you won't. So let's move forward, change the gear a little bit. First of all, you have a shirt on. You have your own line of shirts. Tell us about that. And what's it say?
It says keep on keeping on. Hashtag Mandyisms on Facebook. I
Okay,
I don't have business
love it.
cards. I don't have a website set up. Everything I've done is pretty much solely on Facebook to this point.
Yeah,
Um, so I had a couple. I asked the people that do come and see me every day and asked them what they thought. And keep on keeping on is what I say. It's what I do every day. So
you know,
I have
Mandy. What some one of the things. There's so many, but one of the things I really respect and love about you is that, you're a no frills kind of girl. What you see is what you get, and the level of strength, the fact that you did this drug nearly every single day for 18 straight years, and it took you one experience to say no more, and you now have been clean and sober since July 12th
2012.
of
Yes.
2012. And I know someone out there that wants to know, because, and it is a reality of the reality, and that is that I want people to understand it's not just something that's a switch that turned off, that flicked off like a breaker box that cut the power source. I know, so I'm going to ask you this because someone wants to know: are you ever tempted? And are you ever afraid, when you have those days, even though you may have just been on the air doing a mandyism and building up everybody else, later in that day, you might be in one of those places where, just back in the heat of your addiction, it took a lot less than that moment to make you run and say, I need a hit. What is it? Do you think, even some people want to know, does the allure ever completely leave? Or is it a constant battle that you somehow have to remind yourself, I cannot go there ever again or I'll die?
Over time, it gets easier. Over time, the triggers do not come as often as they used to. This is why I say I'm a dope survivor, okay? Because I don't feel like I have the addict mentality anymore. All right, when I wake up in the morning, my first thought is not, oh, I need to get high.
Right.
Okay, I've survived. I am that survivor. Does it come? Yes. But there are people out there that if they eat an M&M, they will die. It'll just take one M&M. All right, there's people out there that they have one beer, they will die. And that is the same thing with me. Okay, is and I may not die physically if I snorted another line,
It,
but my whole way of life, my being who I am now, it would only take one line to kill that. And I like me. I love who I am. I love what I've become, and I don't want to kill her.
oh, chills. I just got chills. See what I'm saying? That's what I love about you. You can just lay it out there, raw and real, good old down home truth, which is the only way it should be. And I am so grateful to you. I want to tell you about something that, as you know, we're around in the last, this hour just flew by. It just flew by. Um, I watched you do a live when you were in the New York Harbor. Your um, your ship was just coming back from the Southern Caribbean. It was a cold morning. You were outside on the deck, and you had your phone and you had your camera, and you were waiting for the Statue of Liberty. Now, when you and I spoke about this on your coaching session last week, we talked about that, and I told you how you broke me down. I've seen the Statue of Liberty several times. I've experienced it, but not like I did with you that morning. You gave me an entirely new appreciation of it. And today, having listened to you today, I get it now more than I did even last week on our session. When you cried when you saw the Statue of Liberty. And today I get it because it was that moment of freedom. It took one loss in your life, And that was freedom for you to say to that demon, to that assassin, to that stalker known as addiction, you will not get me. You will not take me out. And it was because of that momentary loss of freedom. And now I understand why you cried when you saw that representation of true freedom, the Statue of Liberty. And as we get out of here, I want you to look into your camera and speak to that person out there that is looking for that one thing that can speak to them, that can make them find what you described earlier as their, what did you say? That no more moment. What can you say to them as we leave today's broadcast that you hope will encourage them, Mandy?
Once you identify and you know what that no more moment is, then you have to embrace that. Embrace it and love it because that is the beginning of your new life.
Mm,
All right. So, and anybody can do it. It doesn't matter if you've been arrested 100 times. It doesn't matter if you've OD'd 1,000 or 10 times. It doesn't matter. It's just that one time, and that one time that you just say no more.
mm-hmm.
That's all you need. No more. And when you decide that, then the world is completely open to you. You may think that you are alone, but you are never, ever, ever alone. There is always somebody that is out there, that has been there, that will help you and love you just the way that you are.
Got to ring the bell on that one. Mandy, what a great, great, great way to start the week. I thank you so much for joining us here on Bathrobe Moments. And I want to encourage everyone, just like Mandy's shirt says, keep on, keeping on. The only time it's over is when you stop. And don't stop no matter what. Mandy, you're a living example of all things possible. And I'm very grateful to you. You have an open invitation for Bathrobe Moments anytime. Keep us in the loop. And where can people find Mandyisms every morning?
It's just on Facebook. It's Mandyisms by Mandy Kikta. I have 3 hashtags that I use that you can find me. It's hashtag Mandyisms, hashtag Create Your Own Luck, and hashtag Dope Survivor.
Will you drop those into the comments when I release you here in just a second
I will.
to make it easier for our audience?
Yes.
Awesome. So get out there today, everyone, and do what it is we always do. Love up on everyone you can. But remember, if you truly want to do that, especially in light of the atmosphere of the world we're living in right now, go to the nearest mirror and make sure you can love that person first. Because everything that you do after that is exactly what you will do after that. No more and no less. Mandy Kitka, thank you so much. Have a blessed day and continue being the blessing you are. God bless you. We love you. Mwah.
Thank you.
Thank you. And everyone, I'll see you tomorrow morning, God willing, right here for another episode of Bathrobe Moments. Bye bye.